welcome to Nerds of the Old Republic. I'm Adam.
I am Sean.
And I'm Mike.
And in each episode, we discuss a different book or film from the wide world of nerddom and pair it with a unique cocktail. Today we are discussing Disney's The Book of Boba Fett and enjoying the nectar of the Celtic gods or the Celtic gods. Because I like mispronouncing things.
Wait, when you said Disney, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Dear God.
But it's the Book of Boba Fett,
True.
so let it go.
It is the Book of Boba Fett.
It is Disney, you're right. Oh.
Yes, this is the way, gentlemen.
This is the way.
This is the way.
So, first though, before we get into the episode, I just wanted to thank the Good Pods community where we have consistently rated highly among other book and media-related podcasts and the business podcasts. We have hit the business podcast charts here.
Well, that died quick.
And that's okay. If you enjoy our show and the topics we discuss, please follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And gosh, say hello. We are at Nerds of Old Republic. If you want to hear what we think about many other nerd-centric topics, don't forget to check out our More Than Just Books blog on Podbean. And of course, please rate and review us wherever you listen to your podcast. It really helps. So does maybe slowing down on the drinking. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, everybody.
There's two a week or two a month format. We were like really drunk by the second one.
My liver is not liking what we're doing right now, but my brain is. So you know what? Just before we go too far forward, we celebrated our first anniversary here at Nerds of the Old Republic. Thank you. That is the paper anniversary. And we are excited to and grateful for our growing community of followers. If you want to read and watch along with us, we'll be diving into the world of The Witcher next month. So get yourself a copy of Andrzej Sapkowski's The Last Wish, introducing The Witcher. And it's got that little Netflix, or an original Netflix series sticker on it. Very, very nice. Very doable at something like 350 pages.
Yeah, short stories, too.
Short stories.
Yeah, you can bounce around.
Yeah, find what you can, right? We're also excited to start reading Marlon James's new entry in his Dark Star trilogy, Moon Witch, Spider King, which Mike has described as fucking insane in the best way. So look for that conversation in the near future. But I think we've all really admitted that this is our favorite. We're starting with Guinness, and we're going to Star Wars. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Gentlemen, open up your drinks. This is going to be lovely.
Oh, yeah.
The Widget Rocket. Voted consistently one of the best inventions of its time, Indeed. The Widget Rocket.
And this is the Great Guinness Toast today, guys. So
congratulations on joining the Great Guinness Toast.
Indeed.
Cheers to you.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Now, we've had a lot of discussions, actually, about the temperature at which Guinness should be served, and I've been told by family it must be nearly room temperature. What do you think?
I like it a little chilled, and I think this is probably really right about my sweet spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I like to start a little chilled, and then I honestly, a Guinness, I don't often sit with them for very long because they're so delicious, but if, you can leave a Guinness and you can come back to it, and it can be room temperature, and it's still drinkable. I mean, very drinkable. It's most porters and stouts I find to be that way.
Stout is my beer of choice all the way. Stouts, draughts, and porters.
Nice, there you go.
All the way.
Especially wintertime. I do drink the IPAs more towards like spring. I'll do some Saisons in the spring, the early summer. I'll always drink a Guinness.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's
no time of year that's perfect for a Guinness. It's all the time of year.
As you said, it is the nectar of the Celtic gods.
What are you, Boston?
You know what? I'm leaning into my really bad pronunciation of everything.
Own it, man.
Andrzej Sapkowski, which is not even nearly close. I'm so sorry. My fellow Polish comrade. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for all you mix out there.
Oh,
we're all enjoying this Guinness.
We are indeed. Indeed. Yeah.
This honestly, is the way.
This is indeed the way.
This is the way.
The last time I ran a 5K, what did I have when I was done? A Guinness.
I mean, it's the best way to rehydrate. Honestly. Was that when we ran the Guinness corporate challenge?
No. That was not.
Wow, that was like 10 years ago.
That was nearly 10 years ago. That was actually not my last 5K.
Okay.
That was the last public 5K, though, that I did.
Indeed.
So, here we are talking about the Book of Mandalorian, I've intentionally mixed the two up. That's not me mispronouncing. I've done that on purpose. But so, in 3 to 5 minutes, what is your history or what is your personal past with, let's go with Boba Fett?
I do not have much of a past with Boba Fett. I am a lifelong like Star Wars passionate fan, but I always sort of looked at Boba Fett the same way that I looked at the Dave Matthews Band many years ago, which is to say, I'm like, Dave Matthews wasn't that offensive on its own, but the cult worship was so out of proportion with the quality. Yeah. And that's how I always felt about Boba Fett.
He's not as badass as everyone thought.
Exactly. He's a character that, he shows up, he says like 3 or 4 lines, and yet I feel like in order to like prove their Star Wars cred or whatever, you had people worship at the altar of Boba Fett like he was, interesting in any way, and he wasn't. The first time I thought the character was even remotely interesting was in The Mandalorian, and he showed up in the one episode, and I think we talked about this on a previous podcast. I said he reminded me of like a Ronin samurai.
We did.
And he was interesting to me, not because it was like, the character, there's more to the character, but more because it was like, oh, that's just a different character who has the same name.
Yeah.
But that character was very interesting, and we'll talk more about it as we go on. But I liked the character very much in this show, so that's my history. Not usually even remotely on my radar. If anything, disdain. But in the sort of recent past of Disney's television shows, big fan.
Sure, Sean.
It's interesting. Boba Fett's one of those characters that carries so much cachet in Star Wars circles. And I as the elder statesman here, I recall...
Very elder statesman.
I recall going to Gold Circle with my aunt. And because she needed to bribe me as a small child to buy me a toy. And that was during the original run of Kenner Star Wars toys. And I recall wanting the Boba Fett toy really bad. What did she get me? Admiral Akbar. I got an Admiral Akbar action. Yeah, it's a drop, the action figure. And
smallmouth bass.
Yeah. And even as like a small like 3 or 4 year old, whatever the hell I was at the time, I still recall Boba Fett being badass looking character. Super cool. But I also remember that he was only cool in The Empire Strikes Back, and in Return of the Jedi, he's a total fucking chump.
Yeah,
and he dies
he gets taken. Yeah, he gets taken right on that landing.
But for me, that was the arc, and I'm like, I had peace with it. I was fine with it. I'm like, that's just the way it goes, man. Han Solo's a fucking mofo. He's got plot armor. You can't beat that. Mm-hmm. And then when his status just blows up in the EU with I remember reading EU books when like Boba Fett gets out of the Sarlacc somehow in his armor and blah blah blah, fuck this. And then when Disney makes it canon and he gets out and it's all part of the Mandalorian and all this, I'm like, Mandalorian was cool on his own, and you bring Boba Fett in, and I'm like, well, it's really cool they got the same guy who played Jango Fett in the old trilogy or the prequel trilogy, and of course because he has to be Boba Fett, right?
Yeah.
It was very interesting and very cool. I think, I'll leave it at that for now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. As the uninitiated nerd into Star Wars, like, I really like Star Wars. I do not have the deep history that you and Mike have when it comes to, like, canon versus legends versus, like, everything. When we had read the Star Wars novel earlier, Thrawn, a lot of that was, actually all of it was new to me. And so, like, Boba Fett, my only knowledge of Boba Fett is getting blown up on that landing pod on, was it Cloud City? Is that right?
I don't think anything you just said is actually
none of it's accurate. No. See, that's how, like...
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm just going to ask the question.
What the fuck was he talking about?
So what scene am I imagining where he fights a Jedi?
That's Django.
Oh, that's Django.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
That's on the clone planet of Kamino.
There we go.
In the rain, when Obi-Wan fights him.
That's exactly what I'm picturing.
That's his clone dad.
Which, his clone daddy. Yeah.
That
sounds like a porn thing.
And he doesn't get blown up. He basically wins the fight and escapes.
He kicks Obi-Wan's ass. Yeah.
So I'm just going to shut up and put my Guinness to my mouth. and ask you
best
some
place for
questions
it,
now.
honestly. Yeah. Please proceed.
That's really where it is. So, like, you know, the funny thing is, I came to the Boba Fett series after Mando, enjoying the Mando series, ready for Boba Fett. And, you know, like, how is this going to connect? Knowing that Dave Filoni is, like, trying to, like, connect all of the aspects of the Star Wars universe because, similar to what they did with Avengers, that's how they perceive themselves making money. Really,
He really is the Kevin Feige of
oh my gosh.
Star Wars, and he should be by all rights.
For sure. And so, like, I didn't have the background to draw on, so I guess really, you know, coming to it now, even though I loved it, like, do you guys think Mando saved Star Wars? I know we're not talking about Mando explicitly, but given the prominent role that he plays later on in the Boba Fett series, was it Mando or Boba Fett that saved Star Wars?
You can't talk about Boba Fett without talking about Mando. I mean, clearly they're one and the same. It's just, we'll get into that later, but hell fucking yes. Yeah. Mandalorian saves Star Wars. The Rise of Skywalker is the biggest affront that I have ever experienced in my Star... You know what? It made me like The Last Jedi so much more because Rise of Skywalker is such a fucking putrid piece of goddamn shit. Fuck that movie.
There it is. I knew it was coming. It was a preemptive bell.
Thank you, Adam.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
I got you. That's the one thing I did right so far today.
I think Mandalorian came on the scene in the perfect time to take my dying fandom and resuscitate it. Because I think we talked about it. I was like, I'm fucking done.
When we had Thrawn, you had talked about.
I was ready to. I was like, "Are you serious? That's what they think of the fans? Fuck this shit.
Yeah,
I am done." And then Mando came on. I was like, "I'm back, baby."
Every time I get out, they draw me right back in.
Exactly.
Oh no!
Go ahead.
Every time I think I'm out,
there you go.
They pull me back in. You gotta get that Al Pacino gravel in your voice.
No, if you've heard me throughout the podcast, I'm really like a falsetto, not a gravel.
You're Joe Pesci. You could do some Joe Pesci.
Yeah,
there you go.
He balances our baritones. Right?
Yeah. When you look at the levels, that's exactly
generous to me. Thank you. I'm what would I be? The tenor, and then Adam can be the soprano.
I think you're a bass or something.
Am I? All right. Thank you.
All right, so look at
tenor.
No,
we've all got masculine voices. Come on,
it's fine.
Nerds usually do. I feel like nerds usually
have huge balls.
Indeed. We have had many conversations about how our musical tastes as changed our voices here. And on the way here, I was pretty much singing falsetto the whole way. So emo is my way. I'm sorry.
It's not the way.
I mean, I'm much younger. No, I'm not much younger than you, but
you got a couple.
Literally
a couple of
two
rotations around.
Literally two. Yeah, not much.
I want to weigh in and say, that I echo Sean's sentiments for the most part. That I think that Mandalorian, it did save Star Wars in like the short term sense, because there was something about that new trilogy that was so depressing. I thought it started with so much promise, but I think that it just, Last Jedi, I have a lot of philosophical problems with, and Rise of Skywalker, I just have a lot of it's offensive, basically.
You're kind.
Yeah, and you don't like the red dust that got kicked up all the time.
Well, that was Last Jedi.
That was beautiful.
See, I'm really just making shit up as we go.
But the Last Jedi, if you're a deep Star Wars fan, you have a lot of philosophical problems with the movie. But it's a fine film, like divorced from the Star Wars title.
It's a beautiful film to watch. Absolutely.
Rise of Skywalker is just, it's just trash by any standard. So it left a really bad taste in, I think a lot of our mouths. But Disney has. If you just now retrospectively look back at everything they've done, I think they've done more right than wrong. Rebels, hang on. The trilogy is very bad, but I think that Rogue One is a great film. I think that Rebels is a fantastic series.
Oh, agreed.
And I think that we all agree that Mandalorian is fantastic, and we have yet to find out how we all feel about Boba Fett, but I liked it. So I think that Disney has done, a lot well. And I think that Mandalorian was the point where it was either going to all fall off a cliff or it was going to start to come back a little bit. And I think that Mandalorian was just fucking fantastic, and it came along at just the right time.
Quick counterpoint. Like Disney, again, without the mouse, we would not have new Star Wars to talk about.
This is also true.
Let's be honest.
It would have been done.
Right. And I think Lucas would have continued to tweak things and maybe would have done something, but it would not be the powerhouse of money that Disney has to throw at.
What would he have done? Like, allowed more canon novels to be produced?
Right. It would have been a mess. And Disney came in and really honestly gave us new Star Wars, which I can't complain too much about. But I will say that new trilogy is putrid. They already need to retcon it. The whole thing. Fucking throw it in the garbage and redo it. They fucked it up big. Thank you, Kathleen Kennedy. Fuck you! Sorry.
No, you're fine. Anytime you say fuck you get a bell.
Sean will never be accused of not speaking his mind.
No. You know what? That's true.
My view of the new trilogy is just, on a personal level, I don't usually come down this harshly, but I feel like the new trilogy, I block it out. Like when Return of the Jedi ends, to me that's the end of the Skywalker saga. To the extent that the Skywalker story continues at all, it's the way it does in Mandalorian and Boba Fett.
Here's your deep cut, Mike. Here you go. The only way that Disney can salvage this is they use what they did in Rebels, and they use the time shifting thing of that Nexus of the Force, and they say that was all a separate universe, and they retcon the shit out of it, because Mandalorian has proved that they can do this now with Luke and everything else, and I think that they should at least explore it. But to get back to my original point, Disney's stewardship of the IP, the new trilogy, garbage crap.
Yeah.
Rogue One, very watchable, very good. In the top 5 Star Wars movies of all time, and that's saying something.
Wow,
but Star Wars movies in general are very up and down. Let's be honest.
First 3 did not exist to me.
Well, we love the idea of Star Wars movies, but really, when you look at it, there are very few that are good films. And then you get into like Rebels, great, right? Clone Wars is not really theirs, so I can't give them credit on that one. Solo, mixed bag.
Honestly,
mixed bag is fine.
Solo is one of those things, like you watch it, and for 2 hours you're entertained, and then you forget that it even existed.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't tie it into the whole ether of Star Wars.
Exactly.
And then you've got Mando Boba Fett, which is their other live action stuff. Bad Batch, not great.
No, I forgot about that. I haven't watched that.
Not great.
Actually.
And that's your sign.
Exactly, it's not great. And then
even I say it's not great.
Mando has some really great high points. Boba Fett has some high points. But in general, it's kind of even. I'm really not going to judge Disney's stewardship of the whole thing until we get another live action movie to really see what they're going to do now that they've hopefully learned some lessons and Obi-Wan comes out.
Yeah.
Because that's really going to be the litmus test to see what can they do with that era. What can they really do to maybe push some stories in an area that's already kind of full, right? Like if they can manage that, if they can thread that needle and make me compelled to watch a show about an era that I already know everything about, then I'd say we're in good hands. And it comes down to Dave Filoni. Without Dave Filoni, this whole thing crumbles.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a rant.
No, that's fine. He should have been involved earlier in the whole process.
Absolutely. He should have been the guy sketching the entire new trilogy. Yeah. Honestly, he gets it.
It's not part of our purview right now, but if Dave Filoni had been at the helm, or even an executive producer, which I'm not sure he was on the first 3.
No, he had nothing to do with those trilogies.
No. He would have been able to steer the ship a little bit better into a coherent narrative between the coming intellectual properties and what was there, and pacify the fans who were already on board until they produce the next 3.
Dave Filoni does fan service in the best way. He really does. It pushes a narrative usually when he does it right. And it's like, man, that guy gets what tickles my Star Wars boner.
I need to have another drink.
And yep. And he also knows how to tell new stories. Yeah. That's fucking rare, man.
I agree.
It is.
I agree. I think that, with the new trilogy, what everybody was arguing about was, do you want the fan service and the Easter eggs, or do you want something new completely? And my thinking on it always was, sort of the Family Guy. Why can't we have both? Or can it be both?
Why not both?
I think that why should we run away from the thing's identity? Like, why should we be ashamed of what the thing was and is?
Right.
It has an identity. We should embrace it. But at the same time, we don't want to just become like self-plagiarists, and we don't want to just keep seeing the same story. We do want new stuff.
That's part of the problem is how far new do you push versus what
it's a very fine line. And I think that was the mistake they made with the trilogy. They did not have an overarching view for it. They didn't bring anybody, and they said, we're going to get a bunch of different directors. Because originally it was Colin Trevorrow, right? Who was going to do, they were like 3 different directors, no overarching vision. These guys weren't even talking to each other. And that's why that thing is a mess. It's a fucking mess.
Well, that and like it was Solo. Like they had Lord Miller, the Lego guys, on there to make a hilarious, I'm assuming, presumably Star Wars movie, and then they fired him halfway through and hired Ron Howard, who's a very good director.
Richie
Cunningham. But he's fucking Ron Howard,
right?
Yeah,
you're not going to get anything but a serviceable movie, right?
Exactly.
It'll be a good movie, sure, but it won't be like, wow. That was Guardians of the Galaxy, where I'm like, holy shit, that came out of nowhere. That was fucking awesome. They had a chance, and it's like they're so goddamn scared.
Right.
They are scared of the fans. They are scared of
kind of rightfully so.
To an extent. But honestly, you go back to the original trilogy, and I'm not talking the prequels, I'm talking the original. Empire fucking flopped when it came out.
Yeah.
People were pissed. They did not like it.
They lined up forever.
Yeah.
And it fucking flop.
It did poorly until Jedi came out. And then people recognized the brilliance of that freaking movie. I'm starting to feel the same way about Last Jedi. Now that everything's all, like, the dust has settled, I'm like, you know what? That movie was better than I think I gave it credit for originally. I still don't love it.
I agree with you on the original trilogy and disagree with you on the new one. I think
I get it.
Empire, I think it is, in my opinion, Empire is the finest Star Wars movie by far, and it's one of my favorite movies
knows this.
Of all time.
Yes.
But I don't think that we all have the benefit of the entire trilogy, whereas audiences, as you're saying, didn't have that when they went in. So much of the work that we now understand in Empire Strikes Back on the character development of Vader, for example, gets done in Return of the Jedi. That's the first time you see him as a truly sympathetic villain.
True.
Like sad and conflicted before the Emperor. And then we now are able to go back and watch Empire Strikes Back and know that that's there, right? So a lot of the work that makes Empire Strikes Back so profound and compelling is with the benefit of having seen the whole trilogy. I don't think that's true of The Last Jedi. My specific complaints about that movie are just that, there's silly storytelling. We're going to wait till that ship runs out of gas, then we're going to get it. There's entire subplots that are pointless. We're going to go to this casino planet, nothing's going to come of it. And
that one kid is free.
There is not despite how critics tried to represent it as like what a daring evolution for certain characters. It's not character evolution; it's character assassination that is done in that movie.
Mike, I totally agree with you. But I have to say, Rise of Skywalker was so fucking bad.
I mean,
that it makes Last Jedi look brilliant.
They can't see it at home on the podcast, but I am doing the Lauryn Hill preach hand right now.
Yeah,
that movie was
we are
absolute.
We're getting way off Mandalorian.
No,
Adam Randerson.
That's fine. Randerson. You know what? As soon as someone closed their mouth, I was coming back. So.
You can't wait for that to happen. You just got
I gotta shut you up here.
Smack us on the forehead and we'll shut up. And
just ring the bell.
Yeah, there you go. So, we've gone all over the Star Wars universe. Do you guys think we needed more stories about Boba Fett at this point?
No.
Okay.
No,
literally. Yeah, I agree too.
I think he died in the Sarlacc.
I watched the series going, why am I watching this? When I came back? When Grogu came back.
Yeah.
When Luke CGI came back. Which I was really impressed with. What did you guys think of CGI Luke?
Before I get to that real quick, it was cool when Mandalorian brought Boba Fett in as a non-armored, hey, oh my shit, it's what the hell's his name? The actor. all I can think of is Tamsin Muir, who is also a Kiwi. But that's obviously not his name.
I'm not available to pronounce this name.
Oh, shit. Anyway, the gentleman who plays Boba Fett, I'm like, I know that guy.
Yeah.
And I got it, and I was like, oh, that's cool, It's like, well, I guess he got out of the Sarlacc, and he was an interesting side character.
You see it twice.
Right.
He gets out of the Sarlacc, and then he goes back for his armor.
Yeah. I didn't need a protagonist. I didn't need to find out how he got out of there, or he befriends a bunch of sand people, or he goes through this boring-ass quest to try and take over Jabba's
I thought that was
criminal
bullshit.
Underlord. It was like...
Even I thought that the character the character development...
Take your time.
Can you tell it's the second episode?
This man has had absinthe and gin and Guinness tonight.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Amongst other
And
things.
Lilac Blanc.
Yeah.
I thought the character development was totally bullshit
Yeah.
throughout Boba Fett. I wanted to love it. I really did.
Yeah.
I wanted to think he's a badass who, fights and then goes into his healing chamber and comes out of the liquid and then fights some more. I was not impressed.
What it really comes down to is the actor doesn't have the charisma that Pedro Pascal has, even with the helmet on for 99% of the scenes he's in. He's just not as good.
Yeah.
And he's good at what he does as far as being like a second banana, but the whole thing didn't come together until they were they didn't who is it that wrote the whole series? The guy who did Iron Man, that guy, Jon Favreau. Until Favreau realized, oh shit, this sucks. Let's bring Mando back. Once it became Mandalorian season 2.5, it became oh wow, this is interesting now.
That would be episode 5.
Yes.
Of Book Boba Fett.
Don't agree with me here or disagree. Did the thing not become watchable when it's it's not about Boba Fett anymore? You're like, hey, this is great now.
Yeah. I disagree, but I disagree completely understanding your point of view. I don't...
Well, everything depends on a point of view.
A certain point of view?
Hanging my head here. That's a lame quote.
I came into this, there's a lot of context here. I came into this as someone, I said openly to start this cast that I was never impressed with the character of Boba Fett. When they started they made noises originally about there being a Boba Fett spin-off movie. And I just was like, why? Why are we going to spend any effort on that character? Then it became a TV show, and again, I was just against it. I was like, we might as well go get the character who works in the cafe in Attack of the Clones, where Boba or Obi-Wan goes to find out where the saber dart came from. You know what I'm saying? Why pick these random characters and be like, that guy needs a spinoff? I was so against it, and I was only. I agree with you, Sean. The character only became interesting to me for the first time in Mandalorian. And that wasn't because it was there's more to the old character. It's because I felt like they created a new character.
Right.
So I still wasn't in favor of there being a whole TV series. But despite all of my, decades-long prejudice, and despite...
Man comes around.
Exactly, and despite all the character... all the... I didn't read reviews, but I saw headlines, and I heard talk. And I know people weren't impressed. I had all of that going against the show for me. And I liked it. I honestly, I watched the first episode and I was like, that was fun. We'll see how it goes. Maybe it falls apart in the second episode. I liked the second. By the third episode, I was like, I'm in for this. I liked the show. I do not think it was brilliant. I thought Mandalorian
was a totally fair criticism.
I think that Mandalorian was great. I thought that show was, maybe the best thing that's happened for Star Wars since the original trilogy.
But remember how low the bar had been set by Rise of Skywalker. That bar was so goddamn low. We were looking for anything that resembled the Star Wars we knew and loved.
But I don't think that Boba Fett would have saved it for me the way Mandalorian did. I really think Mandalorian was genius, was brilliant. I don't have that feeling about Boba Fett. I just think that Boba Fett was fun. I think it was good. I liked it. I liked the character.
Used loosely.
I think if Mandalorian was very spaghetti westernish, Boba Fett is very samurai film-ish. I feel like we are watching
traveling vigilante.
Yes, it's like watching Yojimbo or one of those old samurai films. That is the character of Boba Fett. Even the way he talks in it is very it has that very like, sort of like old Asian martial arts samurai feel to it.
This is about the family. It's not about me.
Yeah,
it's
the clan.
society.
Yes, exactly. And the soundtrack has a lot. If you ever watch those old samurai films, the soundtrack resembles it. And again, this is not to say that people who didn't really enjoy it are wrong or that I don't understand that perspective. I thought it was fun. I liked it.
There's moments of it, and I agree with you. They're like the Rancor and the huts and things are pretty
really
cool.
wanted him to ride the Rancor.
Well, we got the payoff, yeah. But I don't know. Like Tamura Morrison, by the way, is the name of the actor. I just looked it up. He just I don't know. It's like it's not. He's no good to me, dead. Like those lines that in Empire that made Boba Fett like this enigmatic, kind of interesting character. But again, like...
What happens if he dies?
Yeah.
He's worth a lot to me.
Exactly. Like
I feel like the lightning round quotes are nothing now.
Put Captain Solo in the cargo hold. Like, he's just like this ruthless, cutthroat dude. Like, no disintegrations. It's like, he's like, look at him directly. It's like... And by the way, did you know that Mark Hamill originally wanted Boba Fett to be Luke's mother?
I did hear that, yeah.
How fucked up that would be.
In my story, and he's like, he made the pitch for it, and then everyone's like, no,
that's crazy.
That can't work. No.
But anyway, he, it's, where was I going with this? I don't know. I felt like the first few episodes to me were just boring. They were boring.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I feel like...
Character development, but not in an exciting way.
And I can see that in the same way that, like, if I watch, the No Name or the Man with No Name trilogy, culminating in the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Like, if you watch that and you tell me, like, I'm bored by that, I'm like, that's fine, I get it. But I mean, man, damn, like all those scenes of him like wandering around in the desert dramatically and like slowly earning like the respect of the Sand People and all that shit. That's just an aesthetic thing that I love. I appreciate that.
I felt it was cliched, man. And I felt
it was.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with that.
I mean,
but it's a cliche I have to
okay,
like.
you would like that.
Yeah.
And I just thought the acting wasn't there. Like Ming-Na Wen even as Fennec Shan. I just thought that she was flat.
Yeah.
I felt like all the acting was just kind of flat. It was cool when like Kurzanton comes in, like the giant black Wookiee who's fucking awesome.
That's a great character.
That character
arms off of aliens.
I want a show about that character.
Man, when he was getting shot coming up that road at that, I'm like, don't kill that Wookiee, man.
Let them live.
He was fucking sweet.
Yeah.
They've got these moments, and it's like that right there, that, and then it's like. No, back to this. And I'm like, oh, no, come on, give me more.
We're going to go back to the family.
Or like the not Ally McBeal, what the hell was her name? Like, no, the whatever, Jessica Biel. Is Jessica Biel play like the Twilight?
Sorry, that's a wrong song.
Yeah, you're all over the place.
I'm all over. I'm done. I'm done for the night.
That Twilight, like, bar owner who gets blown up and it's
I was thinking about, because she's like, listen, you don't want to do that. You've already been a champion. You're proving yourself.
There's cool shit there. It's like, can we clean your helmets for you? I'm like, oh, that's a sexual reference.
Yeah. And then they come back with like a helmet full of cash money.
There's some cool shit. But then you got Tamara Morrison going like, I don't know. I will do this with honor. And it's like everything is delivered so stilted, so woody. And then they go back to Pedro Pascal's Mandalorian. And like all like this is the way, and him like trying to regain his footing with the clan and all, and the Darksaber.
Oh my gosh!
And then you got Grogu and fucking Luke again, which I will say this now, as I said before.
That was the next point.
When Luke showed up at the end of Mandalorian season 2, I was on my knees weeping.
Yeah,
it was so like that was the nerd payoff. I finally came after 30 years. That is
not CGI. That is real life to me.
Oh my god!
Legit.
And then they brought it back, and it was better.
Yeah.
But then they gave me like a little bit more of like the fan service. Oh, Yoda and Luke again, but with Grogu. Okay, it's cute.
Yeah.
And it was that should have been Mandalorian season 3 and it felt rushed. But at the same time, that to me was still way better than Book of Boba Fett was up to that point.
I feel like that's what they do, right? So they try to establish this character. The character's arc is whatever you want to make of it. Last couple episodes, they bring it back to an established canon character or plot line to keep you going, right? Like, so you got just another shot, a little shot of Luke, a little shot of Grogu. Seeing Grogu hop along the rocks as the trainer droid shoots at it, kept me going.
Yeah.
Like, I could have finished the series with 3 episodes like that. That's fine.
Right.
But it was like that, like, was it Amy Sedaris or whoever plays that, like, mechanic on Tatooine? Like, everything has to come back to Tatooine. That's, don't get me started.
Wait,
on
is that who
You gotta-
plays that? Because that character is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Man. The shit that comes
she's
out
funny,
of
like,
her.
Let's make it work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of engine for a little ship.
I dated a
It's
Jawa,
fine.
you know? Like it's like, all that,
I dated a Jawa.
Yeah,
That's right.
she's crazy.
Real hairy. And then she, like,
Furry.
basically,
Yeah, she's really
real
furry.
furry.
Yeah.
She, like, spits out hair in her mouth. Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little over the top.
For sure.
But, like, when she's, like, building which was pretty cool, the fighter jet there for, the fighter.
The Naboo.
The Naboo
the
Starfighter.
Nubian
NB1.
fighter. Which was awesome. What a callback that was.
Yeah.
Super cool. Loved it. But when she takes the astromech thing out and builds this little thing, I'm like, oh, God, Grogu's coming back. It's Grogu. It's Grogu.
Yeah.
We all know it. Jesus, just get it over with. And then the next episode, holy shit, they're doing it. It's like...
Yeah.
Everything about it was like serious fan service, and that was again Favreau going back to like, well, what worked before, you know? And
but I think he also adds a lot of new notes to it. I think that, like, you know, he brings the Rancor back, but like he humanizes the Rancor and is like, you know, he makes him like,
you got to be good to it.
Exactly.
That was cool.
And he brings back, for me, why I liked the first few episodes so much was the Sand People, the Tusken Raiders, because those characters. Exactly. They're always these, like, they're these animalistic, like, barbaric things. You know, they're like, you make a dragon noise and, like, they run away, but they'll soon be back and in greater numbers, you know, like.
He says his British accent, but it's spot on.
Some people always walk single file to hide their numbers.
There's no, even when they come back in the prequel
shit.
trilogy, it's to, like, kidnap and rape, like, Anakin's mother and then get slaughtered by Anakin, you know, like, they're always just, like, a plot device in a very simplistic way to move the plot forward for other characters. This really, like, humanized them and made them interesting.
Yeah.
And just from a stylistic standpoint, that fucking, like, badass ninja Tusken Raider that was, like, jumping off of, you know, I want to say motorcycles, but, like, what am I
the speeders.
Yes, the speeders. Yeah. I mean, like, that dude was fucking great,
Give myself
man.
one for just knowing the word speeder, because I
Nice
can't even
word.
pronounce anything else.
No, Mike, I agree. That was cool, and I like that. However, unfortunately, as a deep down Star Wars guy, that makes a lot of things very problematic for me. Like, when Anakin slaughters that band of Tuskens, the women and the children too, and Padme's just like, oh, Annie.
Don't do that.
And that doesn't repulse her at all. These people had families. They were living beings, thinking beings that had a society, and he just slaughtered them all.
Well, she gives it to him good, though, when she says, you know, you're heading down a path which I cannot follow.
But then she bears his children, and, you know, I mean, it's just...
Listen, he has a very strong anti-sand agenda. He's very...
I just feel like the Tusken...
No, you're right, man. You're talking about a character that kills kids, like, because the boss said kill the kids, you know?
But the Tusken Raiders, I think they served best when they were this sort of, like, just, like, catch-all villain. Like, you know, anytime they show up, it was just because they were the Raiders. Like, they were just there to be, like the little coconut guys in Moana. Like, that's what they were.
Great point. But and I don't think it... when I say it humanizes them, I don't think it makes them necessarily, like... I mean, they do, like, pick him up in the middle of the desert, and, like, they do tie him to a stake, and they do, like, beat him savagely. And it's only when he, like, kills, you know, that very, like, Godzilla-looking desert monster that they're, like...
With, like, 6 arms or 4 arms or whatever?
Yeah. So I think that they're, like... I think they're represented here as... When I say humanized, I mean, like... in all our human flaws. Like, they're just not, like, mindless animalistic creatures. They're like, I mean, they're very savage. They're very brutal.
Yeah.
You know, but they're also, like, you know, for the first time...
They have a structure. They have a society.
There's a code,
Yeah.
I really wanted to see what was under the mask, though.
Yes.
You're never going to see that, man.
No.
Never going to see it.
And I agree. Like, I agree with you. Like, I really wanted to see, but then it's also that Lovecraft thing we talked about, where it's like, as soon as you show Cthulhu, it's going to disappoint.
Yeah. Killed by a boat.
That's
End
right.
of story. Speaking of killing good things, you guys ready for the lightning round?
Let's do it.
Get your hand over that bell. Here we go. So you demanded it. The first question is a semi-deepish quote.
We looking for the person who said it?
You're looking for the person who said
Okay.
it. So I'm going to read you the quote, and you just tell me who said it. Ready? There's always a bigger fish.
Oh!
My God.
Yeah, Sean got it by a third of a second. Oh my god.
Oh, we actually said that one today.
Yeah,
Was it
we did.
yesterday?
No, I wasn't there for that.
Just quoted that one.
Oh, all right. Well,
And there is a bigger fish twice within like a few
I
minutes.
know,
in
of
this.
course.
of course there is. Are they jumping from speeder to speeder in the middle of a city?
No, they're in that underwater
Yeah,
part where they're
yeah,
trying to go to the Gungan city.
Fucking Gungan. You know what? He's a Darth. Darth.
Jar Jar?
Jar Jar.
Oh,
Yeah, for sure.
don't give him that much credit.
I'm just fucking around. All right, this one's good. Their hands are already hovering over the bells here. Ready? When did Boba Fett actually debut as a character in Star Wars? Oh,
Star Wars Christmas special.
Mike,
Is that the answer?
that's not the answer.
Oh, okay. I was going to say Empire Strikes Back on the Imperial Star Destroyer.
Prior to that,
Really?
the character of Boba Fett, according to Under the Helmet by the Disney Plus series, which is like, here's Boba Fett. Boba Fett appeared in a Ansel County Fair in September of 1978.
I wouldn't have known that.
Signing autographs as Boba Fett prior to the special
Interesting.
by like 3 months.
So don't I get that point then?
Oh,
The actual-
fine.
So what is
Fine.
the on-screen answer?
The on-screen
Christmas
answer is
special?
the Christmas special.
I did not know that.
But in real life, there was a character dressed up
Yeah.
similar to Boba Fett signing Boba Fett in people's character autograph books
Interesting.
in September of 78.
Well,
when the
give
Christmas
Sean that
special was
point.
1980.
Yeah.
That answer's no good to me dead.
2 years. Under the Helmet, Disney Plus's own
right,
special.
that's a deep
but I'll
dive,
give it
yeah.
to you.
All right.
You know what? I'm good at the internet.
All right.
That's literally it.
You
'cause I
are.
didn't know that.
Yeah, give Sean that point for
Sean's got
sure
a point.
though, because I did not know
Also
that.
starring B. Arthur
Ooh, the Christmas special.
Indeed.
Holiday special.
and Wookiee marriages.
Yes, indeed. That one I did know because I did a 45-minute deep dive on reading this. I don't know why I spent so much time on
They're remaking that special, by the way.
it. All right. We're going to do they are literally hunting over there. Yes, I have succeeded as host.
Stay on
Okay.
target.
So,
Nice.
we're going to go Price is Right style. If you go over, you don't win.
Okay.
If you go under, you can be okay.
Man.
Closest to the actual number, how many people have watched Book of Boba Fett?
How many people have watched it?
All of the series Book of Boba Fett, according to Disney Plus.
I don't know.
That's right. Deep cut. I made y'all spurred.
I'll go with 5 million.
I'll go with
I'm trying really hard not to give any hints either way.
I'm gonna go 50 million.
50 mil. Sean gets it. Though you went over, so Bob Barker would be like, fuck y'all.
Boom, 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 boom.
There you go.
Really, a Star Wars show by Disney?
Less than 5 million?
Really?
1.5 million people have watched the Book of Boba Fett, according to Disney Plus's own
That's surprising.
statistics.
That's fucking
genuine.
Me too.
No.
Me
You know
too.
what? I had 4 people in my house watching it at once, so you got to multiply that by at least 4. I win.
Nielsen can't rate that shit.
I know.
Yeah. That, I mean, granted, it is hard, but according to official ratings, 1.5 million have watched Book of Boba Fett.
That's interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
You know,
And tell them.
I'm not very good at these. I'm just a man, whereas Sean is more machine now than man, twisted and evil.
Indeed. I got no.
For Mike.
I don't really have a comeback for that, though. That's the problem.
It's not a comeback. Not at this point. All right. So
Give yourself to the dark side.
I really have like one quote, and it's like, technological terror. That's all I got going on.
Oh, man.
Do not be so impressed with the technological terror you have.
This battle
constructed.
station is now the ultimate power in the galaxy.
Yep.
It is insignificant next to the power of the Force.
I find your lack of faith.
Don't try to
right.
scare
That's
us
right.
with your sorcerer's ways, Lord
Vader.
I really just need to switch like intellectual properties hard so I can be on some sort of footing with you guys here.
Tarkin. That's nice. I see you
Tarkin.
holding Vader's leash.
Yeah.
Which she delivers. I only know this because she said this in an interview in a British accent.
Yes.
She was that was the first scene that she filmed, and they were all speaking British on the set, so she did. And in the rest of the movie, she
not.
realized like the good guys are supposed to be American, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
You flew here on that? Braver than I thought.
All right. Well, So, do you recommend Book of Boba Fett, gents?
Oh man,
yes.
What do you say to the nerds? Yeah, because it's canon, or because
I loved
good?
it. I enjoyed it. I mean, to me, there was not a bad episode. I enjoyed the early ones.
Sure.
When Mando came in, I was like, you know what? I mean, maybe I was thinking as you guys were talking before, like maybe in a perfect universe, the better way to do it would be to have Mandalorian season 3 with the Boba Fett arc in it, that's the arc for that season where he goes and he helps out Boba Fett. But whatever. I enjoyed it. I liked the early episodes because I really liked the Tusken Raiders arc. I liked the later episodes because Mandalorian was in it. To answer a question you asked that I never really answered, people are divided on the Luke CGI thing. I fucking love it, man.
I thought it was great.
I
was impressed.
I think we're so spoiled now. People are like, it's a little off and it's creepy, and I'm like, fuck you, man. Like,
it's a human being recreated on screen.
I'm like, that's really impressive what they're doing. Yeah. You know, I think all that shit is great.
We get Luke at the height of his Jedi powers. Come on.
Yeah.
We've wanted that
starting
for 30
the Padawan
years
school.
plus.
Yes, I agree.
And he's going to be the first of the students at the school.
And as I said, to me, nothing exists from the new trilogy. So when they mention that school, there is, in my mind, there is none of that Ben Solo shit. There is none of Luke comes back as your cantankerous curmudgeon uncle. Yeah. Honestly, I'll keep this quick, 10 seconds.
Sure.
I was watching this Luke in that episode, and I was thinking to myself, can I in any way see the evolution to the character that Rian Johnson created? And the answer is no. They're different characters. I don't think that was a brave character evolution. I think that, to me, those are different characters.
Luke would have never,
because you've agreed,
would have never done it. Never. That was character assassination. Yeah. Absolutely agree on that point. Yeah.
I think before we spend another 45 minutes on this.
Whoa, did I say agree or just I didn't say to recommend it or not?
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I got the impression you said yes.
I said
do what you do.
I just said nothing.
Fine. Go ahead.
It's Star Wars, man. People are gonna watch it.
Yeah,
they're gonna watch it whether
so
I say
yes or no.
Watch Mandalorian. Love Mandalorian. Watch the last 4 or so episodes of Boba Fett. You don't need the front of it. No. You don't. You really don't.
I agree. I thought they tried to make him more badass than he came across in episodes 4, 5, 6. Sure, fine. Whatever. Yeah. In fact, he was non-existent in episode 4.
Wait a minute. I forgot we went. Cad fucking Bane. Live action.
All right.
Yeah.
Badass.
Sure.
All right, keep the tape rolling because we got another hour here.
Another episode on Cad Bane.
Quick.
Or as I would say, Cad Bane.
We got Ahsoka Tano and Cad Bane in this live action sphere. That's all we really need.
Rosario Dawson.
And
she's getting her own show. Which is awesome. Yeah. And
as Ahsoka.
I won't go off on the very, very long tangent that I could here, but I'll agree with Sean, man. I thought Cad Bane has got to be, just like Ahsoka, a difficult character to bring to screen convincingly. And man, when he came up that street and just in silhouette in the distance, I was like, no, who's this? And I was like, wait, I'm like, can this be? I didn't know, because I didn't read material in advance, and it was I'm like, this is fucking Cad Bane, and you saw the little bit of blue as he got closer. You're like, it's fucking Cad Bane.
When I saw the hat, I'm like, that can't be Cad Bane.
Oh my god!
And that's how you know they did it right.
Right.
Yeah.
It was the same thing with Luke. It was the same thing with Luke when he came to that ship and saved them. I'm like, that can't be Luke. Then I saw the glove. Yeah. I saw the green set. I'm like, oh my god, it's fucking Luke!
Destroying them.
Just like the double white lightsabers for Ahsoka.
Yes,
they're very good at that.
Oh, absolutely.
And then when he finally looked up, that first opening dialogue, the hat was down, and when he finally looked up, you're like, what's the face going to look like? This is going to be hard.
Yeah.
And it was fucking great.
Nailed
it. Perfect. It was
fucking
but again, last 4 episodes. That's all you need. It's all you need.
Yeah. There you go. Skip 1 through 3. Pick up 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
Totally fine. Essentially No, I'm just kidding. I watched the whole thing. But, so, we're glad that you were here with us today. And come back next month for our reviews of both Andrzej Sapkowski's The Witcher, The Last Wish, and the Netflix series based on the books. The books. I'm Canadian, eh?
Try to read them first, too, so we're not spoiling anything for you.
No, you definitely want to read the books first. Yeah. The books, not the books. And remember to check us out on the socials at Nerds of Old Republic and rate and review us wherever you hear us. We'd love it if you could give us a little thumbs up there. It helps everybody find us, and we'd really appreciate that. So for the nerds, I'm Adam.
I am Sean.
And I'm Mike.
All right, thank you very much, and stay nerdy, y'all.